Welcome, everyone. I am Clerk Treasurer Lori Samuels, and I am calling to order the first of two required public hearings for the City of Auburn's OCRA Public Facilities Program grant that we are pursuing on behalf of the Auburn Cord-Duesenberg Automobile Museum to assist with the funding of their showroom facade preservation project. At this time, I am turning the hearing over to Matt Vondran and Christine Chrislieb.
Thank you. This is the first of two required public hearings for the City of Auburn and the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Automobile Museum's OCRA Public Facilities Program grant application to assist with the funding of the museum's showroom facade preservation project. Welcome, everyone. I'm Matt Vondran, and I am with the Northeastern Indiana Regional Coordinating Council, known as NERC, and I assist communities in Adams, Allen, DeKalb, and Wells counties with the preparation of grant applications and with the administration of grants once received. I am the grant administrator for this project and the designated public hearing officer. My coworker, Christine Chrislieb, will be assisting me with the presentation tonight because I have a limited voice this week due to having bronchitis the last couple weeks. So I'm going to struggle, try to get through the first couple things, then turn it over to Christine. As far as the structure of this hearing, we are going to give an overview of the project and the grant process. Once finished, those who wish to make comments or ask questions will have the opportunity to do so. If you wish to make comments, please start by stating your name so we can keep accurate minutes of the hearing. If you have a comment or question but do not want to speak, we have comment sheets at the back that you can fill out and leave for us. If you would like to write a letter of support in need, please let us know after the meeting and we will coordinate with you. If needed, either myself, the museum, or the architect will respond after the comments have been heard. Also, please sign the sign-in sheet for the public hearing before you leave. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Christine.
Good evening. The purpose of tonight's public hearing is to discuss the museum's showroom facade preservation project for which the City of Auburn is applying to the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs, known as OCRA, on behalf of the museum for the Public Facilities Program grant that can be utilized for historic preservation projects. The city is the applicant and the museum is their subrecipient. As most of you are aware, the museum is the original Auburn Automobile Company administration building built in 1929. It is listed on both the Indiana and the National Registers of Historic Sites and Places. It is also one of the buildings included in the National Historic Landmark designation for the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Automobile Facility. Over time, the historic building, due to age and water infiltration, has developed issues that need to be addressed. And given its historical significance and pedigree, the preservation of the museum is critical. As such, in 2016, a Historic Structures Report, or HSR, was completed to determine the building's condition, needs, and recommended improvements. From the HSR, the museum developed a multi-phase improvement plan estimated at $10 million to preserve the structure. First, focusing on sealing the building envelope, which includes the roof and vertical exterior, followed by interior restoration. Phase 1 was completed in 2024 and replaced the roof and HVAC equipment. The proposed project, designed by Martin Riley Architects and Engineers, will address the vertical exterior architectural and structural needs of the museum showroom. It will restore the masonry, the windows, lintels, and the windows and doors of the showroom portion of the museum. Following the completion of this project, additional phases will be completed to address the remaining interior and exterior restoration on the remaining sections of the building. The proposed preservation project will cost $1,600,000, and $750,000 will come from grant funds, and $850,000 will come from the museum's restricted capital campaign account funds. The City of Auburn will not be providing any direct financial assistance to this project. The state funding is federal CDBG money allocated from HUD and administered by OCRA. To qualify for this grant, the city, on behalf of the museum, must show that the project meets one of three national objectives. It must either benefit low to moderate income individuals, provide the prevention or elimination of slum and blight, or be of urgent need, usually associated with disasters. This project will qualify for preventing slum and blight to an existing structure. To meet this requirement, the city has passed a slum and blight resolution declaring the museum a blighted structure, in turn making it eligible for the federal funding. All materials utilized for the restoration activities will meet or exceed the specifications identified and recommended in the HSR. All improvements associated with the restoration of the museum's showroom facade will occur on the showroom portion of the building only. The project does not include any excavation or ground disturbance. Acquisition of property was not required to complete this project. A plan to minimize displacement and provide assistance to those displaced has been prepared by the city and also available to the public. However, this project will result in no displacement of any persons or businesses. The proposed project includes the following masonry, lintel, and window and door restoration activities to the showroom portion of the museum. Masonry restoration includes cleaning of the entire window showroom exterior, removal and replacement of any damaged or deteriorating black brick, stone, and mortar, repointing of existing mortar joints where the original mortar has eroded or cracked, rehabilitation, placement of any other masonry elements such as lintel support, areas of structural cracks as needed, application of sealant to masonry joints and other related material transitions. Lintel restoration includes the removal and replacement of corroded or damaged lintels with new galvanized steel lintels designed to support the masonry above storefront windows, restoration of any existing lintels that do not warrant full replacements. All lintel replacements and restorations will include appropriate flashing, waterproofing, and sealant necessary to prevent water infiltration at the joints. Rehabilitation, replacement of any damaged decorative plaster pieces, capitals, pilasters, and cornices. Window and door restorations includes the following. First, it includes the rehabilitation of all existing first floor storefront windows. This includes removal of all existing glass and sealants, disassembly, restoration, and reinstallation of copper-covered division bar, transom bar, and sash, resetting of salvaged and new glass with new weather stripping and sealants, application of new high-performance paint finish as appropriate, removal of existing and installation of new window film and window lettering, rehabilitation and window surrounds, including replastering, painting, and staining. Second, it includes the rehabilitation of the existing third floor still sashed windows. And this includes removal of all existing glass and putty, cleaning the steel down to the bare metal, application of new high-performance paint finish, reglazing and salvaged of new glass, installation of films and sealants as required. Rehabilitation of window surrounds includes replastering, painting, and staining. And third, it includes the rehabilitation of main showroom entrance. This includes rehabilitation of wood frames, doors, trim, and hardware, resealing existing doors and window glass, installation of flashing and appropriate sealants. Grant application, the grant application process is a two-phase process with a proposal and application phase that includes a public hearing prior to each phase. As stated earlier, this is the first public hearing, and the second will be held in early June. The proposal must be submitted no later than April 17th, and OCRA will conduct a site visit in May to discuss the project and provide feedback of the proposal. Then the application will be submitted no later than June 20th. The city and the museum should receive notice of the grant award in late August 2025, which would allow the preservation project to begin in May 2026 and be completed in December of 2026. To date, the city and the museum have completed all requirements associated with the submission of the grant application, including the completion of an environmental review, passing a slum and blight resolution, completing a 4-factor analysis for language proficiency, adopting a displacement plan, and issuing a public hearing notice. Public participation is important, demonstrated by attendance and comments at the hearing. So please sign the sign-in sheet if you have not already done so, and please voice your questions and comments regarding the project. If you wish to provide written comments instead of speaking, we have comment sheets in the back on the table, and you can fill out and leave it tonight. So at this point, Matt?
So at this point, we will open up the hearing for questions and comments. Please start by stating your name and address so that we can accurately maintain minutes. And if you have any comments, just come up here and speak into the microphone, and we'll answer any questions or comments that need to be answered appropriately.
Hello, Brandon Anderson, Executive Director and CEO of the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Automobile Museum. Personal address is 815 Midway Drive here in Auburn, and professional address is 1600 South Wayne Street, also here in Auburn, Indiana. We share the same zip code, all together in Auburn, 46706. This is an extremely important project for the museum. We have successfully completed over $2 million in preservation restoration work in just the past couple of years with our roof project, where Martin Riley was also our architects and engineers. We, as preservationists, know to start from the top and work our way down. We are following our historic structures report, which is our guide to the museum and its preservation plan. So we completed the roof project. We're now moving on to the sides. And speaking of phases, the reason we have to do this is in phases is because the original opinion of probable cost from Martin Riley of doing the windows and the brick and this work on the entire building exceeded $7 million. So this is something that we do need to do in phases. So we did our first phase, as mentioned, with the roof and HVAC. Now we're on to our second phase. And we chose the showroom portion of the building as it is the most outstanding part of the building, as being most highly decorative with its Art Deco style, closest to Wayne Street, and a very important part of the building. And we continue to plan to move on to future phases. This work is necessary to ensure that we maintain our status as a National Historic Landmark and to also protect the irreplaceable treasure that is the museum building and our largest artifact, and also the artifact within its storied walls, which includes a collection of over 140 automobiles, 2 historic Stinson airplanes, a historic Dodge boat, tens of thousands of archives, and irreplaceable items in that collection, including our small objects. I like to tout that our museum is also an economic driver here. We bring in over 45,000 visitors a year, which is more than 3 times the population of the city of Auburn. The museum has celebrated a great 50 years, celebrating last year in 2024, that 50th anniversary. We are here to preserve our building for many, many future generations and for our museum to be here in perpetuity. Thank you.
Are there any other comments? Can I get a consensus from those in the audience that this is a needed project, and that there is support for those in attendance for the project? Yes. Thank you. And from the city's perspective, is the city in support of this project, and recognizes the need for it and preserving the museum.
Absolutely. Important part of our city.
Thank you. So one last shot. Anyone else would like to make, because ideally, if there's any residents here, if they can speak in favor, that goes a long way in the application into OCRA. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Sue Bauermeister. My address is 3526 County Road 35, Auburn, Indiana. I am on the board at the museum. I am also the president of the Volunteer Association. And the museum has provided lots of educational experiences for the community, and it's been very helpful. We want to encourage young people to appreciate these vehicles and the building and everything and the history we have here in Auburn. So we want to make sure that the building is well cared for, and it's absolutely in need of help. So the financial support would be well appreciated if we could have that. And I think that's it.
I am Alex Vorderman. My address is 2551 County Road 68 here in Auburn. I'm also on the board at the museum. Our family business is we have a Volkswagen dealership in Fort Wayne, just 20 minutes away from here. Being in the automotive industry, this museum means a lot to us. And Brandon has done a very, very good job at preserving the reputation, I think, and getting our name out there as much as possible. I also agree that this is a really important thing for the museum. It's, detrimental, really. But obviously, we're going to need as much financial support as possible to do so. So any help we can get would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you. I'm running out of people, but one last shot for public comments. Okay, if there's no further comments, you can go ahead and close the public hearing.
No further comments from anyone in the public. We will close the public hearing.
Thank you.